What's up, guys? I'm the Honey Badger, and today I want to be talking about the gap where most people that have gone through awakening, where I find most of them get stuck. And it's that gap between awareness and transformation. It's between knowing the truth and becoming someone who actually knows how to use it. For an example, you go through an awakening, so a shift in your life. This is going to be a major shift, generally from like a breakup to wake up type of energy. And the algorithm suddenly, it starts speaking to you like it knows you better than your own best friend. And it almost feels like your For You page is psychic. And so you start gaining more and more awareness. But here's the trap that nobody talks to you about. Being spiritually awake, but being powerless is actually more dangerous for you than it is to just be blind to it. In fact, awareness is so much more dangerous than ignorance when it comes to this subject, because at least when you are asleep to it, you could accept it. Right now, your body, your soul outright rejects that system. And nothing sucks worse in your life than knowing that you're not getting the fullest out of it and remaining in that. An awakening, it drops you in the middle ground where you're no longer fitting in that old life, but you haven't yet taken a stance. You haven't yet found your footing of where you're going to stand in this new one. Because just learning the truth was never going to be enough. You have to know how to use the truth that you have learned. When you're awake, you see everything. You feel destiny pull on you. You hear the truth. You recognize patterns, and you feel the urgency. But that still doesn't mean that you know what to do, because your body is still programmed for that old life. Your habits, your identity, your nervous system haven't caught up. Nothing external has caught up to what is going on internally with you. And that's the torture of waking up. It's knowing the truth, but your hands don't know how to execute yet. It's hearing the call, but you're still chained down to hesitation. You can see the path, but you haven't yet forged into the person that knows how to take the first step on it. And believe it or not, the sad truth about this is that gap between knowing and becoming is where most people that are awakened end up getting stuck for the rest of their lives. Because most people think that awakening is the destination. Awakening isn't a destination. To wake up, it's a notification. It's an alarm clock. What do you do when you hear the alarm clock? You move. It's an invitation for you to now move. Because the universe does not reward waking up. It rewards the movement you make because you're now awake. And the ones who rise to that occasion, they're not the most aware. In fact, they're the ones who move before they're ready. They don't wait for clarity, they create it. They don't need to manifest anymore. That was the before them. Now they become the one that the universe manifests itself through. And that's the moment everything changes, when truth stops becoming something that you're learning and that you know, and instead it becomes something that you are. And I gotta say this, one of the greatest truths we could ever learn while we're here is our purpose. And that's kind of why this whole awakening happens, why you wake up, why you go through a shift in your life. It's to point you to your purpose. And so it makes sense that that's what the system targets first. A lot of people go through their lives and they never even learn what their purpose was or fulfill their purpose. And it's because the world has sold them on this lie that your purpose is that you're here to be happy. Life shouldn't be hard. It should be comfortable. Get this 9 to 5, numb out, become a consumer, watch other people on social media get their life and what they want. But why are you here? Well, you get this happy meal. That's the box. That's the narrative that the world wants you to accept. This pre-approved, pre-packaged, happy meal lifestyle. They tell you what to do, what to settle for, but your soul didn't come here for a kid's meal version of life. You came here for the whole menu. That's why content like this hits you the way that it does. It doesn't just inspire you, it lights you up. It lights up that part of you that remembers that you didn't just come here to be fed. You came here to feast. And this is the hard truth of it. You are allowed to have more, but only if you become more. Because that old system of control, sure, you being awake or you knowing the truth makes you conscious, but you becoming someone who knows how to use it, that makes you dangerous. That makes you their replacement. So how do you become that person? It's not about breaking free from the old program. It's about rewriting it. It's about becoming the new program. And to do that, you gotta take action. And I know that there are a lot of content creators out there. There's a lot of people out there, and they're all saying the same thing: discipline. You gotta take action. What I'm gonna be talking about today is gonna kind of iron that out. We're gonna get into in between the lines. Okay, I know I gotta take action. What do I do? So in order for you to become someone who knows how to take that action, we actually need to do something first. We need to increase our capacity for it, not through collecting more information or manifesting more. I want more of this Happy Meal. I want more of the menu. Give me that Ferrari. No, that's not how you do it. You don't start by trying to get more. You start by becoming someone who can hold more. Truth isn't just information. Treat it like energy, like voltage. Most people don't need more information. Most people don't need more voltage. What they need is the capacity to hold higher voltage. And voltage cannot hold capacity in a system that is emotionally unstable or undisciplined or leaking energy. And so what you want is the capacity to be able to hold the voltage or the energy or the information, the truth, that you already have. So you train your nervous system to hold the pressure of what you say you want outside of that comfort box that you used to exist in. So let's break this down. And you can't be afraid to get it wrong. You will not get it right until you learn to get it wrong. I'm not afraid of getting it wrong. What I'm more afraid of is being boxed in. This is one of the first mindsets that's great to develop in who you're becoming. It's that I will get it wrong an infinite amount of times before I ever get boxed in. But I know the truth. It doesn't require that. It just requires that mindset. It's the mindset of I will continually get it wrong if that's what it takes to get it right. So with that mindset, here's how people become someone who knows how to use the truth they already have. It starts with this: I'm not trying, I'm not learning, I'm not almost there, but it starts now. Because I said so. It's that moment where you stop waiting to be ready and you declare your readiness by taking action. That's the shift. Everything changes after that. It takes you out of survival mode you and puts you in creator mode you or builder mode you. And you have to do that. Nobody builds anything in a survival mode. Your body's just going to override your destiny, because once your blood spikes before your mind does, you're no longer choosing, you're surviving. So true power comes from composure under impact. That's where the old you needs to break and this new you needs to begin. You build discipline that makes your body obey your will. Truth means nothing if your impulses still give the order. You build freedom from outside of the survival system. You train execution to move faster than emotion. Think about Thomas Edison. If he wanted to feel ready before taking action, if he let discouragement outrank his decision, then none of us would be sitting with lights on in our homes. What, you don't think that he didn't have 1,000 emotional exits along the way where comfort felt more reasonable than continuing? He didn't succeed because he avoided those feelings. He succeeded because he moved anyway. Most people feel before they act, and that's what keeps them stuck. The ones that act before they feel, they don't just adapt to reality, they rewrite it. Truth doesn't just belong to the ones that are most aware. It belongs to the ones who can carry it under pressure. That's the difference between people who just talk about change and the ones that become the change. So understand this: the future doesn't belong to the awakened. It belongs to the adapted, to the ones who refused to stay in awareness, but instead demanded transformation. Not the ones who saw the truth, but the ones who were strong enough to walk it out. Not the ones who understand reality, but the ones who earn the capacity to shape it. We didn't come here to live awake but powerless. We're here to become the type of force that reality must respond to. The type of person that doesn't wait for permission or need approval or external validation, but instead is the type of person that becomes the architect of what comes next in this world. Because from the moment you learn the truth, you either become who you are or you let them choose who you are. Happy Meal. Your awakening isn't so much about breaking free from that old system as much as it is becoming the new one. And one of the things that we're going to probably need to get wrong, or that a lot of people get wrong before they get it right. I'm going to name a few things. Is that the gap between awareness and transformation isn't about learning more truth. It's about becoming someone who can hold the level of truth they're already aware of. And that takes capacity. You don't get there by chasing more information. It's not about manifesting more. Your future life isn't waiting on more truth. It's waiting on you to become the person that's able to hold the truth you already have and not collapse by increasing or conditioning your capacity, not your knowledge. You develop this capacity by doing things that increase your ability to stay stable under higher pressure without collapsing. So I wrote down a few things that I know help with capacity. Number one is holding powerful emotions without reacting. Why would that help capacity? Because reactions are automatic, but responses are chosen. When somebody texts you something disrespectful and instantly emotions flood your body and you feel it fully, but you don't fire back, instead you breathe, you look at the other person's perspective, and you only respond after power stabilizes and not during its leaking. Every time you do that, you stretch your nervous system's ability to hold energy without leaking it. That's emotional strength. That's how real capacity is built. The next thing I wrote down is sitting in discomfort without soothing it immediately. Anxiety hits your chest, you get that instant urge to look at your phone, eat some food, turn to pornography, any type of distraction to escape that feeling of feeling uncomfortable. Higher capacity is when you feel that discomfort and reach for nothing. You let your body shake, you breathe, you stay present, you don't soothe it. Instead, you stabilize inside of the discomfort. That is literally emotional weight training. Another one I wrote down is acting with precision while your body wants to panic. You're about to finally make that move, create that post, speak that truth, whatever it is, and your mind screams, not ready. And so your body panics and you want to abort, but you execute anyway, but calmly with precision, not waiting for the calm, but you lead through the chaos, not letting the chaos change the quality of your action. The next one I wrote down, this is a big one. Continuing forward motion with zero external reassurance. You posted, you moved, you finally took action, and nothing happens. Pure silence. No views, no affirmation, no signs from God that this is what you were supposed to do. It's just straight crickets. Most people freeze here, but having capacity means you keep moving because you decided, not because reality approved. You don't wait to feel certainty. You create certainty through motion. And the final one, this is the big one. We've already kind of touched on this one a lot. Making decisions before you feel ready. Your mind is never going to be ready. It's going to constantly make excuses, it's going to drift, and it's going to procrastinate until tomorrow. Making decisions before you feel ready means you decide now. Not recklessly, but decisively. Readiness no longer becomes a precondition. In fact, it becomes a byproduct of action. Most people call this discipline, but what I just described to you is somebody that has the capacity to use their truth, not just know it. You grow it like you grow muscle. You don't grow muscle just by studying muscle. You grow it by using it, by loading it. Not enough to injure it, just enough to strengthen it repeatedly. And if these things that we're talking about are a part of how you move and they're a part of how you operate in real time, then you've closed the gap that most people in awakening get stuck in. You're no longer someone that just is awakened to the truth, but you're someone who knows how to actually use it. So to sum this up, the gap between awareness and execution, it's like a graveyard where most awakened people go to die. Not because they were wrong, but because they never moved. Awareness changes nothing. Just knowing the truth is meaningless. It's your execution that turns your truth into power. It creates the transformation. We are awake for a reason. The world doesn't need more people who know the truth but never become. So if you're stuck in that gap between knowing and becoming, just understand you can achieve transformation just by learning more information. You achieve it by embodying and creating with the information you already have. Because awakening was never a finish line. It's an invitation for you to build. I'm the Honey Badger. This is my first episode on YouTube. I hope you like it.